Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today, I'm going over why I think Baker Mayfield is not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. A video I know the Browns fans are going to love. But before getting into the topic, question for those of you viewing, those of you Browns fans that aren't going to be biased. Do you think Baker Mayfield is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL? Comment down below. Getting straight into it, in no exact order, these are my top 10 QBs. I think this is worth talking about because a lot of people right now are just talking about the quarterbacks heading in. Where do these guys rank? To me, this is my rough top 10, and there's a couple teardrops. Mahomes and Rodgers, I think they'd be most people's number 2. And after that, it doesn't matter who you got 1 and 2. If you got Rodgers at 1, you got Mahomes at 2, it's fine, vice versa, whatever. But after Mahomes and Rodgers, I think there's a slight teardrop. Not saying who the next two I'm just going to say are Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson. Not saying Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson can't play at the caliber of Rodgers and Mahomes, but I do think there's a slight drop where just most of the time Mahomes and Rodgers play at a always extreme high caliber talent. Watson and Russell Wilson, they reach those calibers of talent, but they're not there as consistent as Rodgers and Mahomes. So top 4, Mahomes, Rodgers, Watson, Wilson. Again, no specific order. Then 5 through 7, I have Tom Brady, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. No specific order. I think you can jumble around wherever you want. And then 8 through 9, I think to me those top 7 are lock-ins for the NFL. No one I think should not have those guys in the top 7 no matter what order. Mahomes, Rodgers, Watson, Wilson, Allen, Brady, Jackson, they have to be in your top 7 in my opinion. 8 through 10, things get debatable. And no one, I don't care if you're Browns fans, you're not going to say Baker's a top 7. So this is where Baker would fit in if he was to be in my top 10. 8 through 10, I have in no order again, Matt Stafford, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert. And again, there's teardrops here. Mahomes, Rodgers, teardrop. Watson, Wilson, teardrop. Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson, teardrop. Stafford, Dak, Herbert, then there is a teardrop. This is where 11 through 15, 11 through 16, things get really tight in the top half quarterbacks of the NFL. You can't tell me Mahomes and Rodgers aren't on the same level. Watson and Wilson are on the same level. Josh Allen, Brady, Lamar, they're not all around the same level. Stafford, Dak, and Herbert not all around the same level. Now the guys Baker is on the same level with. Kyler Murray, Ryan Tannehill, healthy Jimmy G. Say what you want about him. Last time he's healthy, he went to the Super Bowl. That's enough for me. Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Joe Burrow, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz. Say what you want about him. He's going to a team that now has a top 5 offensive line in the NFL. Things are going to change. And Baker Mayfield. Again, not saying Baker Mayfield is at the bottom of this list by any means, but between Kyler Murray, Ryan Tannehill, Joe Burrow, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, this list, etc., Baker Mayfield is within that same tier bracket. He's right around a Kyler Murray, a Joe Burrow, a Matt Ryan, a Carson Wentz, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy G, Ryan Tannehill. He is right around that tier range of being a good and above average quarterback that could still be a franchise guy, but he's not going to be a Matt Stafford, a guy that's thrown for 5,000 yards, a Justin Herbert that's broken rookie records. Say what you want about Baker breaking the rookie record touchdown in only 13 games, and maybe if he played the whole season, he would have still hold that record. Well, guess what? He didn't. You could say the same thing about Justin Herbert. If he played all 16 games, he would have broken Andrew Luck's passing yards. Guess what? He didn't. As much as you can if, and but all day, it didn't happen. Baker Mayfield, he hasn't thrown for 30 touchdowns once in a single season. Say what you want about his inconsistent offenses, bad O-lines. I don't want to hear it. This past year, he's got the best backfield, best O-line, great receiving core, great head coach. He has to hit it eventually, and over his past 3 years, I'm not saying he won't. I think he'll hit 30 touchdowns this year, but today, square one, he's not a top 10 quarterback. He hasn't hit 30 touchdowns. Justin Herbert, a rookie who had the worst offensive line, according to PFF, had the worst offensive line in the NFL. He broke 30 touchdowns. And I know the Brown fans are going to throw numbers at me. Baker Mayfield, since week 7, was the 3rd highest graded quarterback. Great. What do you expect to happen when a guy is in a game-managing position? The head coach found out we're going to be a run-centric offense. We're going to let Baker Mayfield play at his high attributes of playing in the play action and play action only, backed by a great offensive line, backed by a double tight end threat offense of Austin Hooper, David Njoku, Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, Peoples-Jones. What do you expect to happen when you have a head coach that figured out the formula where Baker Mayfield is the most efficient? He's going to find his groove when he doesn't have to carry a team to big wins because he can rely on the rest of his roster. And again, Baker Mayfield is not a bad quarterback in any way, shape, or form. I think the people that say he sucks and the Browns, he's not going to be the Browns' future, I think is wrong. I think Baker Mayfield can even lead the Browns to a Super Bowl this year. I seriously, truly believe the Browns have a top 3 roster in the NFL, and Baker Mayfield has a chance to go to the AFC Championship and even win a Super Bowl ring. But just because they win a ring doesn't mean you have a top 10 quarterback in the league. Pure talent, pure skill, raw, generational talent is not within Baker Mayfield. Like I said, Mahomes, Rodgers, there's a tier 1 status amongst them. Watson and Wilson, tier 2. Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson, tier 3. Stafford, Dak, Herbert, tier 4. Tier 5, and I'm not saying, tier 5, tier 4. It sounds like that's an average quarterback in the league. I get how narrow I'm being, but I have to be narrow to, pinpoint why Baker is not top 10. There's just a tier gap from Baker to Stafford, Dak, and Herbert. You can't tell me he's on that same level of talent. And I know the big debate one is going to be Justin Herbert. He's only been a rookie, yes, but he's been a rookie that's broken every single, type of quarterback rookie record ever for the most part with the worst offensive line in the NFL. Say what you want, Baker's gone in there and did he go into an 0-16 team like Herbert did? No, he didn't. But Baker's had a lot of help in. I'm not saying Baker is a bad quarterback. I'm not. Good for him for turning the Browns around. Good for him for taking them to a Super Bowl possibly. But that doesn't mean I'm going to, just put him ranks above people he shouldn't be. I just think the tier bracket of him being around guys that are Matt Ryan, a guy who's still got talent at the end of his career, Derek Carr, top 15 QB, Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins. I think Baker Mayfield is in that range. I'm not saying he plays like a Kirk Cousins or a Derek Carr, but I think he's on that same level of skill when you round it up all together. He just doesn't make the cut for me. I don't care. Maybe he's number 11 if I actually broke it down, but there are a clear-cut 10 quarterbacks to me that are 100% better than him. A couple of non-debatable ones. Like I said again, Mahomes, Rodgers, Watson, Allen, Brady, Lamar Jackson. Those are 7 quarterbacks. There is no person with any NFL knowledge is going to rank them above Baker Mayfield, any shape or form. And if they do, don't take their advice. Don't listen to what they say by any means. There's 7 lock quarterbacks that Baker should not even touch. And then 8 through 10 range, that is where he would fit if he were to. Stafford, I think he's much better than Baker. He's had some things that he's had a worse team compared to Baker's ever had, in my opinion. Maybe not that bad. Baker came into a rough patch his rookie and sophomore year. But again, Matt Stafford took a similar team that Baker did at one point and put up 5,000 yards. He's thrown for 30, let alone 40 touchdowns. Baker, again, he's yet to hit 30. And I don't care what you say about, he didn't have Odell. Cry about it. Teams, he has talent around him. But just because he didn't have OBJ doesn't mean he can't put up numbers and all of a sudden you just take everything away from Baker. Statistically, when he doesn't have Odell, he plays better. So throw that excuse right in the trash can. I'm not saying Kevin Stefanski, now that he's managing Odell and Baker, they won't figure it out. But when he did have Odell at the time, it wasn't that great. And again, Stafford, I think, is above Baker. Dak, I think, is above Baker. And then Herbert, probably the most debatable one because he is so much younger and we've only seen so much of him. He's broken every rookie record, and to me, that's enough. Yes, Baker broke every rookie record, or has broken some rookie records, but Herbert broke those. Clearly, I think he's better than him. Again, no, Herbert's not on an 0-16 team like Baker was, but don't act like Herbert's on this dynasty team. He was on, like I said, according to PFF, Pro Football Focus, the worst ranked offensive line in the league. Justin Herbert, he's a special talent, and he's above Baker Mayfield. And again, he is not a bad quarterback. I think he could fit top 12, top 15. But to me, Matt Ryan, Kyler Murray, Ryan Tannehill, Jimmy G, Derek Carr, this is a perfect range for Baker Mayfield because these are quarterbacks, they can't carry a team. Kyler Murray is not going to carry the Cardinals to the Super Bowl. Ryan Tannehill is not going to carry the Titans to a Super Bowl. Neither is Kirk Cousins. Neither is Matt Ryan. Neither is Jimmy G. They need a perfect roster around them to be a Super Bowl team. And I'm not saying Baker can't do that, but a top 10 quarterback is a guy that could put his team on his shoulders and bring them success and still put up stats and put up good numbers and still be in contention. Mahomes, he could carry a team. Obviously he wouldn't be as good as he was if he didn't have Kelsey and Andy Reid and Tyreek Hill, but he'd still be phenomenal. Aaron Rodgers, he's put the Packers on his back several times. Russell Wilson, he's the only thing that keeps the Seahawks afloat sometimes. Deshaun Watson, yes, he went 4-12 with the Texans, but if anyone thinks Deshaun Watson isn't better than Baker, I don't want to hear it. And if your argument is that you shouldn't have Deshaun in your list because he might not play, Clearly, if you got to bump out one guy for Baker to make it, and you're just going to use that lame excuse, Baker isn't a top 10 quarterback, if that's going to be your out to push him in the list. Josh Allen, I don't want to say he puts the Bills on his back, but the raw skill, the physicality, everything he has is better than Baker's. Tom Brady, the GOAT. Lamar Jackson, long-term, 10 years from now, Baker might be better, but if I'm putting a quarterback in for 2021, one more season, Lamar's still one of the most electric quarterbacks in the NFL. He just doesn't make the list, in my opinion. These guys can really carry their teams to being a successful team. Baker, everything has to be perfect for them to bring success. You can't tell me if Baker was on, say he switched with Sam Darnold and the Jets, and they each switched the first 3 years of their career. You can't tell me Baker Mayfield would have taken that Jets and taken them to the playoffs and won a playoff game like he did last year with the Browns, because the Jets had a bottom offensive line in the league, not at the top. The Jets have a bottom running game in the league. Frank Gore, for example, that's what Sam Darnold had to work with, let alone Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Baker Mayfield had Austin Hooper, David Njoku, Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins. He didn't have, Brashad Perryman being his number one guy. I'm just saying, if you took him off this roster, he would be exposed more. And again, he does have skill. He is a good quarterback. He can be the face of the Browns and be a franchise guy, and he can win Super Bowls. But that doesn't mean he ranks above other guys that he shouldn't. Top 10 is just not making the cut for me. No disrespect to Baker, no disrespect to the Browns. I have them personally being a great, just amazing team this year that is going to win 13, 14, 15 games, but that doesn't mean it was all due to having a top 10 quarterback, because they don't. As always, guys, I know this is going to be a big debatable video, but that is just my honest opinion. Again, no hate to Baker. I think he's got a lot of talent and is going to win a lot of games, and he might even get a ring this very year, but he's not making the top 10 for me. As always, guys, he just doesn't put up 30 touchdowns a game. He has a perfect roster. If he doesn't have the number one backfield, number one offensive line, a great receiving core, and amazing defense now to rely on, Baker Mayfield is not going to be, he's not going to have half the credibility and half the talent he does now. He benefits a lot from that. Other guys on this list, they don't have half of what he has, yet they still put up better numbers. As always, guys, like I said, comment down below your thoughts. I know there's going to be a lot of debatable ones. Can't wait to hear it. I am very open to your opinions. I want you to change my mind. I'd love to see Baker make the top 10 and carry the Browns to the Super Bowl. But just right now, today, he is not. Not saying he can't be in this future, but today, he is not. Again, guys, thank you for watching. 2-1.